You've ever hit a big milestone, something you've been working on for years, months, and instead of feeling proud, you're feeling empty. You're asking yourself, what's next? It's that moment between accomplishment and acknowledgement where we forget to appreciate what we just accomplished. Or recently you felt like you accomplished something, but you were on to the next and you don't know quite what to feel. Then today I'm going to talk to you about why it's so hard for us as content creators to celebrate what we've accomplished and how to get that joy back. All right. Because I feel like this is a topic that you could probably relate to being a creator, entrepreneur. And before I kind of dig into this, if this is your first time checking out the podcast, whether you stumbled upon this on YouTube or on the audio platforms, welcome to the Creator Factor. I am your host who loves you the most, Ozeal, and this is a podcast for business-minded creators who are building businesses and brands online. Thank you for checking out this episode. Want to preface this with a story and the inspiration behind this episode. I had a friend recently who recently published his 200th episode on his show. 200, all right? It's a lot. It's huge milestone, especially if you are a live streamer, if you produce a podcast, any type of show, even 200 videos. It's a huge accomplishment. Being consistent, showing up every week. I've seen this brother just upgrade his gear, level up his production skills, leveling up his hosting, interviewing style, growing his community, doing all the things all the way to 200 episodes. And about a week ago, he celebrated his 200th episode, as I mentioned. And when it came to celebrating the milestone, he was so focused on getting the show off the ground. He was thinking about the logistics and making sure that it was a success for his viewers. And it felt like through the whole process leading up to it, and even after, there wasn't much celebration, much joy in his voice. He was, again, too caught up worrying about what's next. And I remember having a conversation with him right before when he was having a meltdown. He was like, I have all these things I got to do, and I'm worried about the logistics, and it's going to be a live stream, and I'm doing something different. And, I reminded him that don't miss out on what you're celebrating. 200 episodes. And it got me really thinking about, as I'm approaching 100 episodes on Creator Factor, if I'm being real with you, like I haven't stopped to truly celebrate what I've accomplished. I've been doing this show for the past 3 years. I didn't even know I was creeping up to 100 episodes. I just simply looked back and I was like, how many episodes? Because I stopped counting after a while. If you're a creator with a show, you can relate to this. And I was like, how many episodes? Oh, what? Almost 100 episodes. I believe this is 95. Again, I don't keep count. And I get this feeling. I have a lot of sympathy and empathy for other creators. And even my friend who was on the 200 episode who celebrated that, because I get this feeling of going on to the next thing, like asking yourself, like, what's next? Like, I've done this, but on to the next play. And I believe that we got into a place where we all trained ourselves to just simply chase results, algorithms, success of whatever it looks like online, but never do we take the time to recognize growth. This is the celebration gap. This is the gap between self-criticism and self-awareness. It's where you recognize what you've done, but you don't feel the joy. And it's sad. And it got me thinking a lot about me as a content creator in my journey, and also other creators who have done so much, but yet they never take a moment to glance back and look at the milestones, so quick to turn away because your brain automatically tells you, you got to do more, on to the next, on to the next. And we just skip that celebration. And by doing that, I believe that we do rob ourselves of perspective in the thing that got us to creating content in the first place. We forget how far we've come, and that's a dangerous place to be for creators. It really is. I've talked about this on the podcast, the content hamster wheel. And part of that hamster wheel of going in circles, going and going and going and going, pedaling faster, is that, we never get to celebrate the wins. And when you don't celebrate the wins, even the smallest of them all, you'll eventually convince yourself you're not winning at all. Like you start thinking, well, just turning and turning and turning, but haven't achieved anything. Like I haven't gotten any wins out of this. That leads to burnout, and that could impact your mental health as a creator. And just a lot of negativity can come out of that. More self-doubt, more self-criticism. It's a dangerous place. I think about, athletes, they train all year, they grind, they struggle, they're in the gym, they're pushing their limits. And then when they win a championship, they celebrate. They celebrate. I just saw, we all witness, if you're into baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers, congratulations for, winning their second World Series. And they did a big parade, and they were celebrating, and they were in this moment, and they're like, we're ready to do it again, but we're celebrating, we're popping champagne bottles, we're doing this, we come a long way. And it was what a great, if you're not a baseball fan, that was baseball to its finest. It was amazing series, coming back from behind and winning that. But they celebrated that. Athletes take the time to really reward themselves before they get rest and get ready for the next season. And creators, we're no different though. We're putting in the reps every week. We're showing up consistently. We're doing all the interviews and the production and the marketing and the planning and the research. We're doing it all. But rarely do I see us celebrating and saying, damn, I did that. No matter what success looks like, I don't care even if I didn't get all the downloads that I expected, like doing the work, creating a body of work, that says something about you as a creator. So how do we close this celebration gap, as I call it? And this is a challenge and ask of you to pause and take a moment, after you publish or complete something. I'm going to do it after I finish recording this, taking the time to plan and to actually wrote a script. I was brainstorming actually as a journal entry. And I was like, what has inspired me? What's something I want to talk about? And the impetus behind this was, the inspiration was the conversation I had with my friend. I was like, I'm going to write about this because I feel like there's a lot of creators who can relate to this. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know. Hit me up at The Real Ozeal on social. Let me know if this is something you struggle with. Take a moment to celebrate. Just breathe it in. Publish one episode, breathe it in. Celebrate. New video on YouTube, celebrate that. The other thing is I want you to write that down. Write down in a journal. This is something that I've been doing for the past few years, but now I've been really consistent with journaling. 50 words a day is what I'm doing. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm writing down like just reflections and what I've learned, the wins, my gratitude, and write down what that milestone means to you. The third thing I want you to do is just acknowledge. Remember I said that, the celebration gap is between self-criticism and self-realization, right? Self-awareness, just being aware of it, being aware of what you've accomplished. Slow down, share it with your community. You don't have to brag about it, but share it to inspire other creators, other people in your community, because celebration, isn't arrogance. It's gratitude in motion. Let me repeat that. Celebration isn't arrogance. It's gratitude in motion. So what are you celebrating today, my friend? Let me know. Again, if you published a new episode, dropped a new video, celebrate that. Started a new show, podcast, celebrate that. Okay? Because celebration, what I've realized, it builds confidence. Yeah, it builds confidence. It really does. It reminds you why you started creating in the first place. So celebrate your consistency, celebrate your creativity, and most importantly, celebrate you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure that you subscribe, follow on the podcast on your favorite podcast app, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Overcast, Apple. And of course, if you watch this and stumbled upon this on YouTube, talk about celebrating. I am celebrating every subscriber that I get on YouTube. I really am, because I want to double down on YouTube specifically. So if you subscribe, I'm going to celebrate you. Yeah, subscribe and leave me a comment in the comment section on YouTube. And I would love to give you a shout out for sure. I want to build a community. This has been a slow burn, but I enjoy it. I enjoy showing up, putting in the reps. And yes, I'm going to do a better job of celebrating this myself. Thanks again. I'm Ozeal signing off. Until next time, peace and one love.